All right. Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are joining from. This is going to be an adventure today. I will explain more shortly. It's always an adventure here, but good to see everybody here. I think we're up and running. I think we're in business. Thanks for joining. I've got all sorts of stuff in here today. I'll show you what this is all about in a second. There is quite a collection of things on my table here, and I will explain why. I've got an extra laptop today. I've got an extra monitor up there. Oh, and this feed is a couple seconds delayed now for an interesting reason. We will talk about that. So what is going on? Today I want to talk about the plan the reason my studio is a giant mess, which is just the usual around here. But I also want to share some more updates on the stand, which I've got another one here. I printed out another one this week, so I can actually show it to you on the stream. And I have some exciting news about the StreamDeck XL. So let's go ahead and see what we've got in the chat. Who is all here? Am I missing a fill light to my left? I am. I haven't totally redone this setup, and actually I forgot to turn this one on. This is supposed to light up the desk a bit, which will also help my face a little bit. There we go. Thanks. And am I in focus? I just realized I don't actually remember if I focused my camera before I sat down. Okay, cool. Petra says, just purchased my third PK1 stand. Thank you, Petra. Also, congrats on 1K. I saw you posted you hit 1K subscribers today. Congratulations. That is a huge milestone. Now you can start monetizing the videos too, which is always fun. Everybody should go subscribe to Petra's channel. Let me find the link. And yes, look at that. Nice big 1K. Do I have my computer here in the stream? Do I have it in the stream? I don't. How did that happen? I need more buttons on my Stream Deck. One moment while I do this so that I can then show you my computer. There we go. I had to go make another button here really quick. This is Petra's channel. Everybody should go subscribe. I'm going to drop that link in the chat. Congrats on 1K. Okay. So let's first talk about the stand, because I do think that is some exciting news. Let me get this camera out. So I asked you all last week if you thought it would be useful to have a StreamDeck XL mount for the mini stand. So that is in fact what I did. I have this is now done. I was able to do it without too much trouble, as suspected, because it is the hard part of this was already done. The hard part being the dimensions of the StreamDeck XL itself, as well as getting the angles right. And now that the angle matches the angle of the ATEM Mini matches the angle of the ATEM Mini Extreme, this was possible to do a lot easier. So I did have to totally redesign, of course, the side brackets, and the side brackets being the ones for mounting it to the actual stand itself and on the table, but it works. I'm pretty happy with it, and we now have that stand ready to go. It's not up on the website yet. It will be shortly. So yeah, that's good news, and I am happy to have that out there. I know some people had actually ordered the combo, ordered the StreamDeck XL for the Extreme and this stand, and now I can actually ship that because I will send you the right one now that that's actually available. So Yes, I did in fact switch to the wrong camera. Let me explain what's going on. So I'm doing something quite a bit different here today with the stream, and I'll get back to the stand, but I do want to explain what's going on with the stream. So where's my super source? That's what I need. I need the super source. A lot of this is a lot more manual today. I want the box 1 to be my camera, and I want box 2 to be my computer. Great. Okay. So that's what I wanted to show you so that I can show you my wiring diagram of today's show. Not back. That's not what I wanted to click. So let's start at the end. I'm actually streaming from the web presenter today, and the web presenter is the one running, pushing this out to YouTube. That's being fed by my Television Studio HD, the old school one, the one that everybody wants an update for. I'm just going to turn this around here. There we go. The reason I'm using that is because I'm using it basically just as a way to get more downstream keyers. So I am doing, I am using it in order to overlay the chat in the, on top. So that's one downstream key, which is this Ultra Studio 4K Mini doing the web capture from OBS. It's being fed by my Mac Mini. Oh yeah, I didn't connect that. Let's connect that. Thunderbolt, USB. I think it's Thunderbolt. Thunderbolt to Thunderbolt. There we go. So the Mac Mini is feeding graphics to the Ultra Studio 4K. That's feeding 2 SDIs into the 2 SDIs in the Television Studio. So no converters. It's going just direct, short little cables. The HyperDeck is also plugged into the Television Studio. And that's, I don't actually have any real graphics set up on that right now. I do have my little countdown clock running, but it's not, that wasn't what I was using for the intro. That's just an example of graphics there. And then I have the HDMI out from the ATEM Mini Extreme. And that's what you are seeing me now. You're seeing me on the main camera from my studio, going into the input 1 of the Extreme, which is then fed out into Television Studio. Now, why am I doing this? The reason I'm doing this is because my Extreme, I had to rewire everything for a show I'm doing this week on Wednesday for work. That show is, it's called Developer Day. If you are curious about software development and into that kind of thing, please do come to that. It's going to be a lot of fun. We've got a lot of talks lined up. But what I'm doing, and the reason I have this whole contraption here, is because, let's go drop that link in the chat. So please do sign up if you want to join that if you're a software developer. But on Wednesday, so the conference is Tuesday, and that's like all day talks. On Wednesday is, I am running a series of labs, of workshops. So we've got myself in the morning. I'm actually doing my normal workshop myself from here on camera live, and then playing back recordings of a few other workshops. So I've got 2 different recordings that are set up, ready to roll live. They're about 90 minutes each. And then I have the 4th workshop is somebody joining remotely, and they're teaching it, and I'm going to be doing that over VDO.ninja. I'll explain how I'm doing that one set up in a second. That's what this MacBook Pro is for. And then at the last one, I'm doing the second part of my workshop again at the end of the day. So it's a combination of live content plus pre-recorded labs, which people are expected to follow along live, and the instructors will be in the chat live and handling all of that, answering questions and helping out in the chat live. Just their video is pre-recorded. And then we have one other person doing their workshop live because they just preferred that over editing a video. So I had to totally redo my whole ATEM in order to make this work. So let me switch over to the multi-view of the ATEM so you can see that. Let's see, that should do it. So here's everything that's plugged in, and you're looking at the multi-view of the Extreme. So I've got an input 1, that's me. That's where you're seeing my camera. I'm actually going to switch it over to my other camera when I'm doing the workshops because I'm going to use my table, or my desk, not the table here. But same idea, one camera of myself. And then we've got input 2 is my computer screen, which will be my computer screen live so that I can show slides instead of this wiring diagram. I'll be showing my slides, doing live coding on that screen, that kind of stuff. Input 3 and 4. Now, those are the special ones. So input 3 and 4, you can see it's got a webcam over there. And that is emulating bringing in the remote guest, the remote contributor. So how do I explain what's going on with that one? Let's see. I've got my laptop here. You can see it in the shot. This laptop its only job is to feed those two inputs, 3 and 4. So inputs 3 and 4 are fed by this laptop. This laptop sees it as 2 external monitors. So what does that let me do? Basically, I have, let's see if I can shrink one of those so you can see what it looks like when it's not full screen. How do I get Chrome out of full screen mode? There it is. So you can see in that one, that's a browser, and this is a browser. These are VDO.ninja URLs pulled up, and then I've full screened them. So I've got 2 scenes in VDO.ninja, scene 1 and scene 2, and my control room lets me send a link out to the guest. They'll join, they'll pop up on the screen in my control room, and then I can add their camera to scene 1 and add their slides to scene 2, their screen share to scene 2. So that's letting me bring in the remote guest that way. It does mean I have to have 2 external monitors in addition to the laptop, so I can't use my M1 for that, but this 16-inch MacBook Pro is getting the job done. However, it is a rocket ship. It is very loud. The fan is going nuts right now. Also, really annoying thing about the MacBook Pro 16-inch. You know how that charger is like super huge? It's like 92 watts or whatever. When I have 2 screens plugged into this and it's running Zoom, or in this case, VDO.ninja, the battery is still draining. It is not able to keep the machine powered, even with the massive charger brick, which I think is a little bit annoying. And it basically means that there is some amount of time that this will last, and it's not forever. If it were a like M1 Mac Mini or a regular Mac Mini, it would be powered off of wall power and there is no battery, so it would just work. This one, it's just ticking down ever so slowly. I started at 100% this morning. It's now down to 92%. So it's been running for an hour and it's drained 8%. Powering 2 or feeding 2 external monitors and a stream, or pulling up VDO.ninja, and the same thing happens in Zoom. So that's a little annoying, but I know that this is only going to be 90 minutes, so I don't need it to be running all day like this, so it's fine. As long as I let it charge up before we start, it will last the duration of that session. So yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't think there's a power supply that can feed more than the biggest Apple Power brick. So maybe one of the Thunderbolt docks, but I think those all cap out at the max that the Thunderbolt thing is going to let you do anyway. So anyway, that minor annoyance, whatever, I'll deal with it. It's fine. The point is, this machine is feeding both inputs 3 and 4. I've got an active VDO.ninja feed right now, and I've joined it from another computer. Doesn't matter what it is. From another computer, showing that webcam just as a way for me to test it out. And it's doing a pretty good job in this. So I can remove myself from that scene. You can see it just turns into that sort of blue background. Add myself to that scene. I could add it to scene 2 instead, but I'm going to do camera on scene 1, slides on scene 2. Okay, moving on. So box 5, the one right below me, below me on the left. That is just this graphic playing on an infinite loop. just in case I need to cut to blank. So we've got, the program is 90-minute sessions with 30 minutes in between. So we've essentially got 8 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Oh, my battery on the wireless camera died. Okay, I'll have to fix that in a second. So the schedule is 8 a.m. to 9:30, first lab, 9:30 to 10 is a break. During that break, I need to keep the stream going and have things to show on it as well as music. So input 5, it's this little animation with just a empty space so that I can, if I want to, like put text over it with a keyer. I don't know if I'm going to do that yet, but at the very least, I can always just cut to that if I need to. So that would be this one. And then there's also a music track on it. So I baked in like an hour-long playlist into a video, and that's playing on that feed as well. So I've just got the sort of a bunch of music that I got from Artlist, downloaded songs that are in the same genre, and put it into a video, put that loop over it, and it just runs forever. That is playing on a Mica spec. So that is one of the loops. Then I've got in input 6, I've got this one, which is playing a Keynote deck. It's a slideshow I made in Keynote, and it's got about almost 20 slides or so, and I made them autoplay and have subtle animations, and that is just playing on an infinite loop from an iPod Touch. That is my clever hack for this. I didn't want to run a full computer for that, so that is playing off of an iPod Touch that is several generations old. It can't even update to iOS 13, but it does run Keynote fine, and I could even install custom fonts on the iPod so that the presentation looks right. And it's been running there since last night when I left, when I was done setting up, and it's doing great. It's just sitting there playing those slides. Some of the slides have videos, the videos play. Not totally seamless video playback as in terms of there's like a pause at the end and a pause before, but good enough for this purpose. But I think I'm pretty happy with that solution. There, and then the other two, 7 and 8, those are additional Mica spec players running the recordings of the labs. So I've got those on SD cards, and those two are just, again, they're just like on an infinite loop, but I will actually start that at the right time at the beginning of the session. I've just got them running in there so I can test things. And both of those have audio tracks, of course, so I'm going to switch over to those program audios. You can kind of see on the audio meters up there, input 7 and 8 are audio follows video, so as soon as I cut to that, it'll start playing that audio. One of them has like these little countdown timers. So you're hearing the music now from the countdown timer. So when I cut to that, it'll switch over to that dialogue, and then I will switch back to the break screens, and it's all queued up, all ready to go. So the run of the show is basically I'm switching between these 8 different inputs based on whether I'm live or my guest is live or I'm playing these pre-recorded clips. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. It's gonna be a long day. But that's how I've got everything set up here. And that is this diagram. Oops, I need a super source button. There we go. So that's everything here, right? I've got my HDMI players. I've got the iPod running Keynote. Oh, there's another iPod over here running music also. So just in case there's something wrong with the other music feed, I have this as an audio source going into mic 2 on the ATEM, and I can always cut to that music if I need to. So this is mixing the main show. For the actual stream, I'm going to use this same setup because I ran out of inputs in the Extreme to do the graphics. So the Television Studio HD is the one that's taking the main program feed out of the Extreme, and then I can add in graphics either from the HyperDeck. I'm a little bit behind. I haven't done this yet. I still need to make the little animations for the stingers. I want to have little stinger transitions so I can cut between things and not just do a hard cut to the graphics. That's going to go into the HyperDeck. That way it can key it out properly with the 2 SDIs. Also the Ultra Studio 4K Mini. When I'm doing the show or the actual stream in OBS right now, this is my chat overlay, but I'm going to switch it over to this one, which, let me get that out of the way. I need to fix the colors still, but it's basically showing you the countdown to the next session. I need to make it a black background instead of a white background because when there's white underneath it, it doesn't show up well, but there you go. And the dates are wrong. I need to update the dates. So that's why it's stuck at 2 seconds left. Anyway, that's going to be a running countdown for the next session, keyed through OBS the same way I would bring my chat in, but I'm not going to be showing live comments from the chat on the screen. Maybe I should. I don't know. We'll see. Let's see if there's any other questions. Go back to the chat overlay so I can show those, and then get out of super source. Oh, I can actually just load this on my other computer. In fact, okay, I see some questions coming in. This is so cool, inspirational. In September, we'll have a conference at work. Maybe cool. Thanks. How do you bring the iPod Touch feed into the ATEM? Good question. That is just using the Apple Lightning to HDMI. So that's the official Apple adapter, Lightning to HDMI adapter, and then HDMI from the iPod into the ATEM. And the cool thing about that is Keynote knows that there's a second monitor attached. So it actually goes and outputs the slides full screen, but you still get the little control on the iPod itself. I can go show you that in a sec too when I replace the battery in this camera. Where do you like to get your music for timers? I am a big fan of Artlist, artlist.io. I do think I have a link to them in this description down at the bottom. Let me go grab it again. The reason, oh yeah, if you use my referral link, you get 2 months free. So I'll drop that in. Just again, to recap, the reason I use Artlist is they seem to be the best in terms of license terms. So they let me, the license applies to me, not the channel. So I can use it for my work on any number of channels. So if I'm running this stream, I can use it on my stream. I can use it for a client work. I can use it on whatever channels, as long as it's me using the music. So that's one of the reasons I like their license terms. I've used a couple other platforms before, and the license applies to a channel. So you have to buy a new license for every YouTube channel or Instagram channel, or sometimes you don't have to buy a license, but you have to like explicitly add other channels to your account. This one just applies as a blanket license. The other thing is they were very good about dealing with a copyright flag that was incorrectly flagged on my YouTube channel. So I got a copyright notice saying that I'd used somebody else's music, and I was like, no, I know I got that song from Artlist, so what's going on? And they were able to go and track it down and get it reversed. I didn't really have to deal with it, which was nice. So I think I've talked about that in more detail. If you're curious about the background of that story, you should be able to find that in my timestamp search. So if you go to aaronpk.tv/timestamps, which I'm going to drop in the chat, you can search for Artlist in there, and it'll find the video where I talked about that. Did you set up SuperSource macros to enable the split screen, headshot, and slides for each speaker? I have not yet, but yes, that is my plan. So in the multiview, I'm gonna this input 3 over there or down here, depending on where you're looking. That's going to be like this kind of framed shot of the guest, and then their slides will be in input 4, and I will set up a SuperSource macro to make it look like my SuperSource does right now in this other window. Still working out. I'm not totally ready for this, but it is on Wednesday, so I have a few more days. Looks amazing, but have you forgotten the coffee source? I have forgotten the coffee source. I do have coffee over here. Thank you. Okay. Graham says, I was wondering how long it would be before I heard the words, I ran out of inputs on the Extreme. Yes. I've registered for the event, created and confirmed Octave account, but I can't see the link where the event would be on the 24th. It should send you an email like right before the event with the actual event platform. If not, just go back to that site and it should link it out to it at that point. But yeah, I'm pretty sure you'll get an email for the event as soon as it's actually live. The Tuesday event. The Wednesday event is... Oh, I should talk about how I'm doing that. The Wednesday event is... you don't need to register like ahead of time. You can just show up and participate, but you will need to like join the chat by entering your email. But that is another cool thing that I'm using different from before. So the platform I'm using for that, let me show what it looks like. Do I have... Yeah, okay. Also, I have to give myself a super source button. Hang on. Let me just do this so you can see it. This is my StreamDeck layout today, which I'm actually just using on this iPad. It's just the website of the of Companion loaded up, and I need a button for SuperSource so that I can get back to this layout easily. Okay, now I can hit Extreme 1. Extreme 2 is my computer, or I can do SuperSource. That's better. Okay, so what I wanted to show you was this. This is the website for the labs that I'm running. So I'll drop that link in here. That is, here's the schedule, right? We've got 8 a.m., 10 a.m. Pacific time, all the way up until 5:30, with these little gaps where I'm going to be doing the slide loops and things like that. So these, you can, when you click on this, during the session, like at 8 a.m. on Wednesday, instead of seeing this, there's going to be a video player up at the top and a chat interface. And there's a demo of it here. This is what it's going to look like. So this is something, and then down here, there's like the information. And this is, you know, that same page where with the labs prereqs and all that stuff on the page. And I've got the video player here, which is offline right now, and the chat over here. This is something I'm really excited about, and I'm crossing my fingers that it works well, but I think it will. I didn't want to use YouTube for it because of the chat issue. So with YouTube chat, it's great for this kind of thing where it's like people can talk with each other, they can talk to me, I can show comments on the screen. It's perfect for this kind of show, but not super useful for a workshop where people are going to be doing an exercise and needing to ask questions of the instructor, of which there will also be multiple people, multiple staff in the room ready to answer questions. So I didn't want to use YouTube chat for that because it would just turn into a disaster really quick. It would be way too much stuff going on in the chat. It'd be hard to keep track of conversation threads. So I was like, well, I don't want the chat feature of YouTube. So what are my other options? Well, at that point, it's like, why are you using YouTube? I guess there's the distribution advantage of, there's like almost 30,000 subscribers on the channel we're going to be broadcasting. We would broadcast it to on YouTube, but that's not the main way we're getting people signed up for these sessions, right? We're getting these people signed up through other outreach we're doing. So instead, I am using OwnCast for this. Now, OwnCast is, I'm going to drop that link in the chat. So OwnCast is essentially they call it a self-hosted video and web chat server for use with existing software. Basically, it is a YouTube in a box, Twitch in a box, whatever you want. Like, you run it on your own machine, you can run it on the cloud, you run it on a Raspberry Pi, whatever. Throw it in a box in your closet. And it is a broadcasting platform. So it is a way to run your own live streams off of your own infrastructure, and you don't need to use YouTube for it. I know video streaming seems like a big scary thing online, and a lot of the platforms that you'll find, especially like the ones that cost a lot of money, will try to make it seem like it's very complicated, but it's quite a lot simpler than you might initially think, and totally doable on not very expensive hardware. One of the things you can do to like get around the performance limitations of, or the bandwidth limitations of something like your home internet, is by pushing the video files up to a CDN, like Amazon S3, and they handle like the scaling part, and you still only need one box to do the encoding. So the way that this is working is, instead of me streaming from the, I think that's going to show my stream key if I show the web presenter interface, so I'm not going to do that. Instead of me streaming to YouTube from the web presenter, I'm going to stream to a Amazon server that I set up and installed OwnCast on. So once that goes, once I go live, there will be video on this page. Oh, I might be able to actually show that. Let's see. I think I can, because my Extreme is not streaming right now. So I should be able to stream from the Extreme. Well, it looks like I don't have that one loaded up here. Oh, no, I have the file for it. Where is the file? I'll just stream to my printer stream. You'll get the idea. No, I want to show that. Okay, I'm going to load this up. I have the XML file in here with the streaming settings. Do I? I don't. I don't have that file. Should have thought of that. Let's create one. So I can go and create an XML file for the stream. We'll call it the, we're going to call it the developer day stream, and then we're going to put in the stream.developerday.live, and then I think that has to be live, and then I have to go find the stream key. We're going to call this developer day, save it in my ATEM Mini Pro folder. Now I should be able to go and load streaming settings into my ATEM. Oh, I needed that with an XML extension. A developer day dot XML, and load streaming settings, developer day, and then I need to go find the stream key for it. One moment. That one you don't get to see. So that is on admin, and now I have to go get it out of my password manager. Great. What else is in? Okay, a lot of questions coming in the chat. I will take a look at that in a second. Okay, here's the stream key. Now I should be able to go on air from the Extreme, which is set to my camera right now. And in a couple of seconds, we should see this pop up. Should see a video appear here in a second, once it realizes that there is actually a stream. There it goes. Okay. So this is what it's going to look like. This is going to be quite a bit delayed, I think. Yeah, quite a bit delayed. It's fine. Oh, we're going to have the tunnel effect if I have super source on. Oh, well. I don't have a good way around that. If I switch off of it, yeah, I need to... Okay, I can fix it. Output from my Extreme is, instead of multiview, I'm going to output my camera, and then do output my camera, and now I can switch to super source without. Yeah. Okay. So the other way around, I needed your stream. Okay, forget it. My Extreme is in SuperSource, so the website is now in SuperSource, and I wanted the other way around. I wanted the website to be on the program, and I wanted YouTube to be in SuperSource. So I need to set my output that I'm streaming that I'm getting the multi-view to actually super source. That's what I want. Okay, so you're seeing on YouTube my super source layout with this that I'm feeding, but the stream on the website is now just the camera. Okay, so let's take a look at the questions coming in. Yeah. Oh, and then so the OwnCast. I was talking about OwnCast. It actually looks like this. This is what the website looks like, and it's got a little description down here. But I'm not actually sending people to this link. There is also a feature where it has its own chat room that works almost exactly like YouTube chat, which is again not exactly what I want. I actually want what I actually want is a chat room that I can like have threaded conversations in. And that is where Rocket.chat comes in, which is basically its own open source project. It is kind of like open source Slack, Discord, all that same stuff, but I can host it myself. So I'm hosted it myself. I've connected it to Auth0 for login. And then when I go and let's see if I can get the code to go log in. This is how everybody will be joining the chat. They will be joining by clicking that link, typing in the code from their email, and then hopefully be logged in. And sure enough, so that's the chat room. And now it looks kind of like what you would see on YouTube of, you know, a video player and a chat, but you can actually now have conversations in here inside of threads. So like, hello. My theory with this is that we'll be able to use this to have like more Q&A style discussions of like someone's like, I've got a problem, and then, you know, we can help troubleshoot it in a thread. So I hope that works out well. Cross your fingers. I've got a different chat room for each session. So if you go into the sidebar, you'll actually see there's a bunch of different channels, one for each session to keep the discussions sorted out also. Yeah, so that's the deal. It's cobbled together from a bunch of pieces. There's, you know, OwnCast, there's Rocket.chat. It's running on a server on Amazon, and it's not actually that expensive to throw this all together. The Amazon server is probably the most expensive part, because it's like I'm running on I don't remember exactly which one. It was one of the kind of beefy ones, just because I do want to make sure that there's enough CPU for doing the transcoding. But the actual video files themselves are all hosted on in Amazon S3, which is just a static file hosting thing. So yeah, come back on Wednesday to this developerday.live and join in these sessions if you want. I'm going to be teaching this one, my normal OAuth content. We've got the Auth0, more Okta, Terraform stuff, API gateway things over here, and then I'm closing it out again with the API half of my session. It'll be a lot of fun. Okay, how do I get back to showing my? I want that, and then there we go. Undo those changes. Is that what happened? My multi-view is wrong. Okay, cool. Yeah, so that's the deal with this setup, but there is more. So what I showed you was a rundown of this bit. The trick is I ran out of inputs on the Extreme. I am not using 3 of the 8 inputs on the television studio for the actual day. But how am I doing this stream? So this stream, you're right now looking at the Extreme feed out through HDMI 2 into the television studio, into the web presenter to YouTube. But I wanted other camera angles, for example, this one. So where's that one? That is where, and now I do need to get my battery replaced. That is where this YoloBox comes in. So the YoloBox is, I was like, well, how am I gonna do the stream if all my stuff is tied up for this? You know, I only have one camera input. So that is where the YoloBox comes in. Now for this one, I do want to actually switch over to the YoloBox stream so I can go and actually walk around. So for that, I need to get my audio back to auto follow video, wrong ATEM, and go back to the television studio, and go back to the television studio, audio follow video. Okay, this is going to be weird because there is a lag. So the YoloBox, oh, I think it just switched over, didn't it? It did. I messed that up already. Okay. Well, you're at least you're seeing me in sync now. The YoloBox also has an ATEM attached to it. So now that I'm in sync over here, I can show you this one. Let's see, this would be camera 1. So the YoloBox Pro is now pushing a live stream to my Raspberry Pi over on the desk, and it is then routed into the rest of the flow so that I can send it to YouTube. Now, when I was explaining audio follow video cutover, I forgot that I would actually do it live, and so you probably heard me go back in time a few seconds, and that's because I was switching over from the live audio from the camera to going through the YoloBox streaming to the Raspberry Pi. But what this lets me do is I have the YoloBox here with an ATEM, and now I've got multiple camera angles, and you can see that. Zoom in on that one. The ATEM is coming into this second HDMI port, so I can go and show you that scene or that one or my main camera. And then, of course, I've got the wireless camera coming in on HDMI 1, which is how you're seeing that. The audio for this is now coming through the Rode Wireless Go 2 rather than coming from my overhead microphone, so it probably sounds quite a bit different too. Does the YoloBox display a specific comment from the stream, or can you show a specific comment through the YoloBox? You can. So in normal mode, when you're using the YoloBox, there is this little thing over here where your comments from YouTube will show up here. I don't have that here because I'm actually not streaming to YouTube from the YoloBox. I'm actually streaming to a Raspberry Pi in my studio, so it doesn't know about the comments. But normally you can, and that's a pretty cool thing. So I'm streaming locally. I'm streaming over to my rest of my video rig, which is then coming into the ATEM that's streaming to YouTube. And that's how I'm showing these comments on the top as well. And when I'm in this mode, I have to plan for the few seconds of delay because when I cut that on YouTube, I actually see it a few seconds later, or on my multiview, I see it a few seconds later. So, but yeah, that's a cool feature of the YoloBox. Oh, I should also mention, YoloBox just shipped an update to the firmware also. So if I can show you the screen, there is a new setting in here called encoding setting. And you can now change constant quality, constant bitrate, or variable bitrate. So I'm streaming now at constant bitrate. It's hovering around 4 megabits a second over to my Raspberry Pi. That came out in a firmware update just this week. So that's pretty cool. Okay. So yeah, that's the deal with this whole mess of gear. But I do want to show you the desk over there. So let's see. It's my audio. Oh, my audio has been switching back and forth. I hope that wasn't too distracting. I forgot to lock it onto one of the modes. Okay, now I'm locked onto the lav mic. Hopefully those were not too dramatically different from each other. So I want to go show you the desk over here to show you these iPods I was talking about. So one iPod focus. Oh my God, come on. I believe in you. Where is my exposure? There we go. So I've got this iPod over here mounted to the top of the stand. This one's running Keynote. So it's, again, you can see that it is got the like presenter view of Keynote, but then the HDMI out up here is showing just the full screen view. That's the iPod for music, and that's just attached to this part of the stand, the top bar. And then, yeah, this is the Extreme doing most of the work. I will be sitting at this desk for that live stream, not sitting at the, I won't be sitting at the table. It is definitely disconcerting seeing this ATEM up here not be what's on YouTube like normal. So that's interesting. But I've got my web presenter program here, so I know what's actually being sent to the stream, which is right now my little handheld camera. For the workshop, when I'm hosting the workshop, I am going to reassign that monitor. It will be my second computer monitor, so it'll look more like that. It'll actually be the second monitor, not the main monitor, but that is where I will be like doing the live coding demos, and then I will have my main monitor for the back channel, like managing the chat, and that's not shared on the stream. Here's my little rack of goodies. So I've got the 3 HDMI players stacked up here. I've got the Television Studio HD. I've got the Ultra Studio 4K. I've got the web presenter over here. Haven't painted those yet because they don't live in the main rack. They're just hanging out. I will put my StreamDeck back here for the show. Right now, it is busy over here being a prop so that you can see how well it fits with the new ATEM Mini stand. Cool. Let's go back to that one, and still got the audio from the lav. That's fine. Take a look at the questions. Actually, I want to get back into real time instead of being delayed so that my questions are synced up. So I'm going to switch back to the ATEM, and to do this, I'm going to pause to let the stream catch up. So I'm going to count down 3, 2, 1. Okay, so back to this camera and back to that audio. So I saw a comment about there's an added noise floor on the stream from the YoloBox that wasn't there when feeding directly from the ATEM. So that is actually because the ATEM I have set to do audio processing. So I've got the dynamics pulled up in the ATEM Extreme for that camera. So you can see it's doing the gain reduction when I'm not talking, and that's why you don't hear that noise. If I turn this off, you would hear, you're now probably hearing the same-ish noise floor. Let me know actually how similar it is, but that's why you were hearing the difference. The YoloBox does not have that kind of audio processing in it. YoloBox bitrate adjustment, thank you. Yes, it is. How do you remotely connect the ZV-1 to the ATEM? Great question. So for that one, I am using these little wireless transmitters. So this one is the Hollyland Mars 300S, 300 Pro. That's that one. So that's the transmitter on the camera, and then there's a receiver on the connected to the ATEM, which outputs HDMI over to the ATEM. Roland says, how long till you follow in Curtis Judd's footsteps and end up doing the AV bit full time? I don't know. Probably not. I don't think it pays as much. Let's see. Some other people chatting. Oh, hey, Quick shout out. Thank you for the YouTube chat. Highlight Chrome app. You are very welcome. How do you keep the Apple devices awake during streams? Ooh, that's a good question. So there is a setting on the phone for that purpose. If you go to display and brightness, I don't think I have a way to show this well. I guess I can show it from this one. Is that going to work? Yes, it is. So we're going to go to that, and then I have to compensate for the delay. Oh, let me switch audio, follow, video off. This is not going to be as complicated on Wednesday because I won't be having to stream the behind the scenes of the stream on Wednesday. Okay. So, honestly, I'm delayed, but the auto lock feature. So, auto lock, my phone is set to 5 minutes. There's a never option. And if you change it to never, it will not go to sleep. So that's one. But there's also, I've noticed that some apps are smart and they are able to tell the phone to not go to sleep also. So Keynote is one of those where if you have Keynote open, Keynote's like, I'm busy presenting, so I'm just not going to let the phone go to sleep. Laptops, same idea. I've noticed that Keynote is able to tell the laptop to not go to sleep, but I also go into the laptop settings and say, do not go to sleep ever. I really mean it, never. No battery saver mode, no screensaver, nothing. Similar but slightly quieter noise floor when you turn off the gate. Okay. Yeah, I tried to roughly match the audio levels, but I didn't do a super good job of that before I was setting up today. Is there a way to grab a source from somebody else's OBS into your OBS to have a multi-person live stream? Sort of. I don't think there's anything built into OBS, but you could do it by using the Raspberry Pi streaming bridge server that I did a video on. There's a how to build your own Raspberry Pi streaming bridge or something to that effect. I just realized my ATEM is still streaming and it does not need to be streaming to that website. The other way to do it would be VDO.ninja. Actually, that's basically exactly what it's for. So VDO.ninja, add your camera to OBS, or remote screen share into OBS. So basically you make a room here, you send them that link, they come into your web page, and then you can web capture that in OBS. Screen capture, or web page capture, that's the word. That would be probably the easiest way to do it. And that's what I'm basically doing that for this show on Wednesday for the one remote presenter. But rather than capturing it in OBS, I'm capturing it over HDMI. Same idea. And okay, any other questions about this setup? Haven't heard much on the streaming bridge. Still liking it. Oh, good question. I am, but I will say, because it is locked and it's limited to receiving data from Blackmagic streaming devices, I don't get as many chances to use it as I would like. For example, I would be using it right now to stream from the YoloBox to that instead of to the Raspberry Pi because I trust it more than I trust the Raspberry Pi, but I can only stream to it from an ATEM. So that's kind of the downside of it. But for streaming from an ATEM or a web presenter, it is fantastic, and it is weirdly somehow extremely low latency, which is great for doing remote contribution into your shows. I do plan on using it more for when I'm running a stream from home or from a remote place. If I have an ATEM, I actually still like using all the stuff here that I've got set up because I've got my graphics overlays and stuff all wired up. And now with this sort of chain of of gear, using the television studio as the last piece in the chain to add in the graphics. I like that setup, and it frees up 2 of the inputs on the Extreme. So if I can put the streaming bridge into here, it means I can I can get all of my normal graphics overlays and stuff the way I normally do for any show that I'm running, even if I'm not in the studio, because I can push from remote into the studio using it. I'm trying to make a movie with Alpha to play on Ultra Studio 4K by using DaVinci Export. Can you help with the step-by-step? What file type? How to play on the Ultra 4K and then to the ATEM? That is a good question. That is, I think, a little bit too much for me to cover right now because we are short on time. But I'm sure there's videos on that on YouTube. That has to exist. The quick answer would be you need to make sure you're exporting into a format that supports alpha channels. That extra alpha channel, which is, do I even have Resolve open here? I don't think I do. That is the ProRes 4444. So it's 4:4:4:4. And then to play it back in the Ultra Studio 4K, I believe OBS can load that in and play it out over that device. But you can also use the HyperDeck to burn it onto an SD card and play back from the HyperDeck. I checked my original YoloBox and not receiving an update. Is this only for the Pro? Ooh, it might be only for the Pro. I'm not totally sure about that. It might just be an update for the Pro. Has someone tried to hack the stream bridge to take all types of streams? I have heard of one person who I think actually got it working, but I haven't seen them like publish anything about how to do it. I think it was more hacking, not the streaming bridge, but changing the software that is streaming to like have it pretend to be an ATEM. So it obviously wouldn't work for everything like the YoloBox. You can't really hack that. On the ISO ATEMs, any way to decrease the bitrate for the ISO recordings for better storage management? No, they all record at 70 megabits. No options. I doubt we'll see any options added to that. I feel like that's most of the time you want it to record at the highest bitrate in order to re-edit, and you don't want to be recording lower bitrate versions that you're going to then be re-encoding, because every time you're re-encoding a lossy signal, you're going to lose more of the signal. Oh, there's a whole thing over here I forgot to show you. Let me get that one out again. There is a whole monitor over here. So this is, where is it? Yes. So this monitor is the Seetec quad monitor, which I am excited to be able to use it for this. The top and the bottom, I'm like 4 seconds behind here. This is really weird. The top and the bottom ones are actually, my computer is plugged into those. So my computer, the 2 HDMI cords in the computer are actually running into the monitor and then out into the ATEM, so I can see those monitors myself, because otherwise they would be invisible to me, and I wouldn't be able to see, like, am I positioning this window right? Because I'd be looking at it only in the tiny little thumbnail. So those are my computer screens. And then the other two are just for this show. I'm not going to have those active on Wednesday. But those are the two multiviews of the two ATEMs. So I've got the Extreme multiview up on the top, and I've got the TV Studio multiview on the bottom. And these labels are there to help me keep track of where they are routed into my giant SDI matrix, which I haven't needed to switch. I thought I might need to switch them today during this show, and I haven't. So kind of cool that I can just plug in 4 sources to that and have that work. I'm a big fan of that. Okay, so that was fun. Oh, Jules says, I ordered your stand, cheese plate, and attachment for the YoloBox Pro. Do you think I'll need the clamp to hold the ATEM Mini in place, or is that not necessary? The the little clips are useful if you have. I'm trying to position this camera again. The clips are useful if you have cables plugged in that are large or sort of heavy and like pull down. So if you have only lightweight cables that are like these ones that are super slim and going up to the YoloBox, those aren't really like putting any tension on the ATEM, so it doesn't need the clips. But if you have larger cables that are going down, that's going to want to like lift up. It's going to want to pull this sort of thing up, and that's when the clips are really useful. I will say if you're putting a large thing on it like the YoloBox, you probably do want the little rear feet. Otherwise, this without the feet, a lot of weight on this will tip it back. So the rear feet stop it from tipping, and you can put a lot more weight on it with the rear feet on it. The rear feet should be around here somewhere. Yeah. So I've got the rear feet on that one because it's got the HDMI transmitter in the back and it's got the YoloBox on top. So a lot more weight pulling that direction. Andrew says, I purchased HyperDeck Pro. I have a series of 52-minute video clips. Can I pick from the 50 to display clip using the HyperDeck on the ATEM Extreme? Oh, thanks for the super chat. Just saw that. Appreciate it. Yeah, so you can pick which clip to play. The easiest way to do that, in my opinion, is using Companion, because what you can do is you can make a button that says like you can say what clip 30, but you might have like actual names for them. But there's an action here, which is go to clip name. So you can choose from the names of your clips. Here we can do PK1 promo. That's going to load that clip in the HyperDeck. So where's my HyperDeck plugged in? Oh, it plugged into my ATEM that is streaming, or my television studio, so I can't show you the multiview unless I show it to you from a camera. But if I do that and then show you that camera feed, then if I click that button, it's going to load. Oh, and I think it's set to autoplay, so now it's playing that clip in on the HyperDeck, which is in fact loaded up in my ATEM. So if I switch my stream over to that, you will see it live on the screen, and without the music, because I don't have the music turned on that input. But yeah, that is easiest way to choose a particular clip, I think, is by using the Companion, and then you can make individual buttons for each one of your clips. Let me get that out of here. Question, I put the Seetec on a tripod with adapter. Would you find that better than a stool? Yeah, I got mine sitting on a stool here. I wasn't terribly confident in the tripod that I had available, which is this one. So I don't think I would put it on that tripod. But if you have like a actual big tripod with like a big plate, that would be fine. But yeah. Hardy Media says, using the existing ATEM Mini Pro ISO and recording ISO feeds to USB SSD, best way to add zoom, adding ATEM Mini for another USB out for webcam. Yeah, this is the problem with that. This is the big problem with the original ATEM Mini series, is you're limited in the number of outputs they have, which is why I'm so glad they added 2 HDMI outs in the Extreme. But yeah, you can, if you're recording to the SSD, then you can't use the USB for webcam. And if you want your multi-view, you can't use the HDMI out either. So the only option left is the streaming output, which you can stream to a streaming bridge, and HDMI capture that back into a computer. But that's probably too much of a delay. It's not that much, but it's probably too much for a Zoom call, unfortunately. If you don't need the multi-view, then you can do HDMI out and capture that using a capture card or another ATEM Mini. But yeah, I wish they had just one extra output, either an extra USB or an extra HDMI on the original one would have been really handy. But the Extreme solved all of that. Yeah, you need a reasonable quality tripod, but it will work well. I didn't have, yeah, my good tripod is holding up this whole camera contraption with the teleprompter. Cool. Okay. I think that's about all we've got time for today. And thank you everybody for the super chats. That is here. There we go. Thanks for the super chats. Thanks for coming to the stream today. Hopefully this event goes well on Wednesday. Please do feel free to join. The link is now in the chat. I'll put it in the video description as well. Should be a fun time. You'll get a chance to see this in front of the scenes, not behind the scenes. Yeah, I hope it goes as well as I'm thinking it will. I'm pretty excited about it. I will do a recap on Sunday next week of how it went. So, yeah, thanks everybody for joining, and I will see you all next time.